Ho, 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 ho! 'Tis a season to be jolly. Yep, it's another holiday season, and more than likely, I'll probably be spending most of it alone. But really, who knows what's going to happen? And I had uploaded a video a little earlier, and then I decided to take it down because, well, to be honest, I really don't know what's going to happen these next couple of weeks. So I guess I probably shouldn't speak too soon. But before I get to that, I found myself some hot honey, and I've already opened a container so that way I can save you guys 2 minutes or more trying to figure out how to do this without making a huge mess. So I've already opened it, but I haven't tried it yet, and it's Mike's hot honey. Hot honey extra hot. Now I'm a little skeptical whenever anything says extra hot because it can probably be used as an advertisement ploy to get you to buy the product thinking, oh, it's going to be that product that's going to be nice and super spicy to give that meal that extra kick of excitement. But we're about to find out if this is in fact spicy or if it even has any heat at all. So let's go ahead and give her a little taste test. Okay. I'll be dang. I'm impressed. Wow, that stuff's actually got a little kick to it. I'm impressed. So if you're looking for something sweet and spicy, Mike's hot honey, which often makes me think that maybe I should have become an entrepreneur and developed my own hot sauces and honey concoctions and what's and so forth. But then again, I'm not really familiar with raising bees and collecting honey, but maybe that's where I can go into a partnership with someone that does know how to do working with bees, and I can do like the other logistics as far as like packaging and actually mixing the ingredients. Hell, that's what the partnership is for, right? And besides, I would know how to do the taxes for a partnership, fill out the information return, then each of us would uh, uh, do a special Schedule K. Okay, enough of that. But another thing, if you're really looking for some spice, are these arbol chilies. Now, these things pack a little bit of punch, 15,000 to 30,000 Scoville, which is about anywhere between 3 to 6 times hotter than your classic jalapeno pepper. So, yep, right here. And by the way, this has become one of my favorite snacks when I'm jogging on the trail. It's a good way to get that little bit of extra kick going, give you that little bit of extra motivation. Okay, so I wanted to make this video because I had made a short. I guess it's been a few months now, or maybe a couple months at least, and it is the rise and fall of Defying Odds Donnelly. Yep, Defying Odds Donnelly has fallen. And so I'm making this video to kind of go more into depth as to why that is. And a lot of it has to do with there is a lot of content out there now these days, or it seems like a lot of content out there, a lot of bloggers documenting their journey on loneliness, depression, anxiety. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I've done it, I blogged about it, but now it's kind of like it's time to take action. And yes, I could keep continuing to blog about it, but do I really want to be in the same situation in 10 years and be like, when I'm like 59 years old and be like, up another holiday season alone with no friends and no family? That's not going to really look good on my part because it's going to just basically be like, yep, Donnelly is up. There he is. Same spot he was 10 years ago, same spot he was 20 years ago. And so it seemed like the highlight of Defying Odds Donnelly was when I look back at some of my videos, was especially like ones I made like during 2021, which was actually the year where I had like a lot of viewers from one of my peak videos. And then I even got on 3 different podcasts back then. So it was kind of a busy 2021 with this channel. I was part of the hiking group. So it was the climax of Defying Odds Donnelly. But really, did Donnelly really defy any odds? And the answer to that is no. Because defying odds, here's my interpretation of what it means to defy the odds. So a good example would be like if you had stage 4 cancer and you were given like a week or 2 weeks to live, and you end up like surviving like 10 years, and like you're healthy, you've been alive for 10 years, even though you're only given like a couple weeks to live. That's defying the odds. Or another example might be like if you had like some 30-year-old that like was watching an NFL game, was a really good soccer player, was good at kicking the ball, but for some reason just decided to go out there, buy himself a football, start kicking some field goals, and then all of a sudden before he knows it, he's able to kick like a 60-yarder, 65-yarder, and then he makes it onto an NFL team as a kicker. That might be defying the odds, especially at the age of 30. Another one, what would be another good example of defying the odds? It would be like someone living to like 120 or 125. That would be defying the odds. Winning the lotto, that's defying the odds. So you guys get what I mean. It's like anything that's really even like more than an outlier, that's defying the odds. So Donnelly, as I'm speaking, I'm kind of like speaking in third person, but yeah. So yeah, did I defy any odds? No. And so I kind of wanted to do away with that name. And two, the other thing is, I just don't enjoy really making videos talking about depression, talking about loneliness, because like I mentioned, there's a lot of other videos out there, and you can only do it so much before it just becomes repetitive. It's like, oh, yep, here is Donnelly, another video talking about loneliness, talking about depression. So I'm kind of at a crossroads as to whether or not I want to either rebrand this channel or just straight up start a new one. Now, the only problem with starting up a new one is if I want to go live or something, well, I'm not going to be able to do that until I have at least a certain amount of subscribers and viewership. So that's one thing I wouldn't be able to do is go live. I think you have to have, I forgot, I'm sure they probably changed like their rules as far as like how many subscribers you need to have before you can actually go live. But I want to say it's like 1,000 subscribers or something like that. But yeah, and now with YouTube, more people using YouTube, it would be pretty challenging to probably start from scratch. So I'm almost thinking rebranding myself may be the better option. And what that means is there are a lot of channels out there that look fun to make, like especially like these channels by someone like these passport bros that have gone overseas, or like people documenting like their adventures. So like you guys have seen me through my struggles, you guys have seen me through my depression, my anxiety. So I guess it would make sense to rebrand a channel so that like there's kind of like a continuation. So you can kind of see like, well, here was Donnelly like when he was like 41 years old. Here was Donnelly when he was 45 years old. Here's when he was almost 50. Didn't really make any progress between the age of 45 and 50. And so if I do ultimately decide on rebranding this channel, or as far as like doing like any venturing videos, I probably wouldn't do anything like that until I'm actually like at least in a different state. Because you guys have seen pretty much, the same old routine, me going up the local trail or me cycling. Well, I guess I can't, you guys haven't seen me cycle all the local hills. So, that's one area I could kind of utilize. But yeah, so as far as like, turning this into like kind of like Donnelly's Journal, I'm probably going to end up switching the name to something along the lines of like Venturing with Donnelly or something along those lines. Because, yeah, I just feel like that continuing to kind of like beat a dead horse, it's just not really enjoyable. And it's kind of like I've talked about it. Yeah. But now it's kind of time to start to take action. And yes, I know it is a holiday season, battling loneliness, but like last year, I'm going to just do what I can, because last year wasn't that bad. I got through last holiday season pretty good, actually. And so now that I'm being granted overtime at my work, I've got some goals that I need to fulfill on Strava. Yeah, I should be pretty kept busy. And like I said, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe I could get invited to some party or something. You never know. But I will have to admit that it is difficult meeting people up here. I can't speak for the rest of Washington State or the country or the world for that matter, but I will say it does seem like to be on a different league of its own up here. Just, I guess it's the demographics. A lot of people that are coming up here from like the Seattle area, they're able to work remotely, mostly couples with families. So it's more the demographic. So it's definitely challenging up here if you're an older single guy with no family. So I will have to say that can make it really, really difficult to meet people up here. But it's probably, I've had some people suggest, well, go to a bigger city, but it's like, yeah, if I go to a bigger city, you can't really, you don't want to be like, well, you move to a bigger city and then you find yourself in the same situation. Or now I've got nowhere to go, like do my cycling or my running. So it's kind of like, you gotta like, it's like you gotta sacrifice one for the other, but really you can't control what people think of you. So probably my best option is just to continue on with my career, trying to develop it more, advance, make progress. And then once I can, yeah, if I'm still able to work remotely, start traveling at least the rest of the country, get to see different states, and then eventually like start going overseas. But one step at a time. But in the end, yeah, I think it's time for me to kind of rebrand myself. Just kind of, you guys have seen it all as far as like talking about mental health and my battle with anxiety and so forth. But yeah, it's just like it's no longer really enjoyable to talk about. Like, yeah, sure. I mean, maybe periodically I maybe bring it up, but not like I have been in the past where it's like it seems like every other video is like talking about kind of like the same thing over and over again. So that's where I'm at now. What else did I wanted to say? Yeah, I think I've covered every. Oh yeah, and uh, one of the things that I kind of have a little regret is the fact that like, I know I've beaten this to a dead horse, but yes, I was definitely a fuck up in my 20s, and I feel like I'm kind of still paying the price for it. And I honestly do feel that, and I'm trying to work through this. That yeah, I probably lost a lot of respect from some of my family members. And I mean, it's on me. It's not on them. It's basically I take, I'm owning up to my mistakes. And that's that's to be expected because like yeah, I went down there in 2022 for 3 months and yeah, I wasn't really carrying my weight. It's like here I am, I'm like in my upper 20s, I should be working a full-time job and supporting my own way 100% because my family works really hard. They don't make a lot of money. It's like something like I think like the average wage in Colombia is like it's something like anywhere between like 250 and 350 USD a month. So yeah, so that's definitely one of those things where it's like I should have been pulling my weight 100%. So of course they're going to probably be a little they're going to be irate and rightfully so. So hopefully I can kind of rebuild my relationship with my family, just kind of continue on with my success and career and just kind of like develop that, redevelop that relationship and hopefully no grudges for form. Even though that was a long time ago, 2022, it does still haunt me to this day. And it's funny, I want to say this, but even like when I was going through like the security checks, one of the transportation workers was like, "Ah, so you're mooching off family." And I still remember that. And now I'm able to laugh about it, but at the time it was kind of embarrassing because even the transportation worker was like saying, I mean, I mean, he was like, yeah, mooching off family. Because here I am, like in my upper 20s. Most people my age are working the 9 to 5, pulling their weight. But so I still remember that. But other than that, there's really not much else I had mentioned in that previous video I had uploaded. But in the end, Defying Odds Donnelly has fallen. There are no odds to defy. It's just a matter of now I'm kind of like in that second phase. Continue to work on making progress in my career, start taking some action, learn to be a man. I can one of the things about probably not having a father figure is I'm sure that may have impacted me to some degree. But yeah, it's just like learning to kind of like, as a man, you take action. Like, don't just sit there and be like, oh, well, here I am. It's another holiday season. Because yeah, it's gonna get old pretty quick. So I'm gonna do like what I did last year, and I got through last year just fine. Actually, last year, even though I was alone, was actually probably my I wouldn't say it was my least loneliest holiday season. I would say it was probably my second least loneliest holiday season in my 40s. So I guess that's pretty impressive considering that If I was able to do it last year, I can do it again this year. Plus, I've got two things going for me. One, my job, and two, I've got some goals I can focus on to make my year in review on Strava a little bit more robust. So I've got to get after some more local legends. Maybe see if I can get myself some top tens for the year on certain segments, and just kind of wrap up the year on a strong note and put this loneliness aside and start redeveloping those relationships with my family. Continue to practice on my Spanish, because that's another thing too, is not speaking a language, especially when a lot of them don't really speak much English. I think a few of them do speak English now, but a lot of them don't speak much English. So being able to speak the language will help a lot too, because in that way I can actually have some fun and meaningful conversations with them. So that's one thing I'm going to continue to work on. Because right now it's, like I said, like it was in my previous video where I was talking in Spanish, still pretty basic, but I'm starting to get a hang of like verbiage. But as far as like vocabulary, that's just one of those things that you don't really want to try to memorize. It just kind of comes as you like speak the language more. So I could be like, yo tengo cansado, I'm tired. I could be like, necesito buscar para un cuchillo, or necesito me voy, or ir a la tienda para comer. Okay, enough of that. Otherwise, I'm going to end up embarrassing myself trying to practice my Spanish. But yeah, this is about the same length of video that I had previously uploaded, so I'm going to call it good for now. But yeah, stay tuned, guys, because I think it's time to do a little bit of a rebranding. And yeah, like I said, Defying Odds Donnelly has long fallen. Oh, it actually feels really good to say that. Defying Odds. And so with that being said, it's only appropriate that to celebrate the fall of Defying Odds Donnelly. And yeah, Downhill D. Miller also fell as well. So both Downhill D. Miller and Defying Odds Donnelly have both fallen. So with that being said, I think I'm going to make a toast to that, but not only having one, but by having two chilies. Yeah, that's a good way. So here's to the fall of Downhill D. Miller. And here's to the fall of Defying Odds Donnelly. Oh, I said I wasn't so bad. I think that honey actually kind of like warmed me up a little bit. And so now those arbol chilies, I'm really not that bad. So if any of you guys out there are looking for a great snack while you're at the gym, or while you're on a bike ride, or on the trail, and you're looking for that little bit of an extra pick-me-up, and you just want to give a little bit of extra spice to your day, I highly recommend getting yourself some arbol chili, or if you really want to step it up a notch, Thai chilies. Thai chilies are great, and if you can find red Thai chilies, not only are they sweet, but they're even hotter. Sometimes coming in at 100,000 Scoville heat units. Yeah, so great snacks, great nutrition, and just a way to kind of like spice up your day. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for now. So stay tuned. There is gonna be a name change to my channel, so be on the lookout for that. But yep, Defying Odds Donnelly has fallen. Yeah. All right. Hasta luego.